at this news story. Let me show you something in the news by David Pugliese, who's really Canada's leading military journalist. The story in the Ottawa Citizen is, Canadian military will rely on an army of public servants to boost its ranks by 300,000? Federal public servants would be trained to shoot guns, drive trucks, and fly drones, according to a Defense Department directive. Yeah, it's an insane story. Let me read a little bit more of it to you if I may, but first let me show you the picture. Actually, the photo they chose for it is just classic. They say this is the public sector, like that's what this photo is, except it's not really accurate because the public sector in Ottawa is still working from home because of COVID. I kid you not. In fact, they were going on strike or threatening a strike because they didn't want to stop working from home. I checked the demographics of the federal civil service. There's 60% female. Average age is 45. Now, I couldn't get stats on fitness, but to be fair, I don't think even paper pushers in Ottawa could do worse in the current state of the Canadian Armed Forces. Here's another story by David Pugliese. Almost 3/4 of Canadian troops are overweight or obese. The Canadian military has higher obesity rates than the general population, according to an internal briefing. How is that even possible? But let me read a bit from the story today about this new master plan. Quote, the Canadian Forces is counting on public servants to volunteer for military service as it tries to ramp up an army of 300,000 as part of a mobilization plan, according to a Defense Department directive. Ha! I'm sorry. Federal and provincial employees will be given a 1-week training course on how to handle firearms. Oh, a whole week, would you? Drive trucks and fly drones, according to the directive signed by Chief of Defense Staff General Jenny Carignan. We'll talk more about her in a moment. And Defense Deputy Minister Stephanie Beck on May 30th, 2025. Can you imagine these they, them, COVID mask-wearing socialist workers handling firearms? You know what? Maybe if it got feds used to firearms, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't be so scared of them. And I don't know. It's just a crazy idea. This is never going to happen. It's crazy that it's a window into the mind of the leadership of the military. What does it even mean, though? Would they do basic training or not? What's a kooky idea? They actually address that a little bit later. They say the entry criteria for the supplementary or other reserve should be less restrictive than the reserve force for age limits as well as physical and fitness requirements, the document said. Lower standards of fitness? The military is already fatter than average Canadians. They want to lower it again? And I'm not making fun of women, and I'm not making fun of people whose average age is 45. I'm 53. I wish I was 45. But that's your secret weapon. That's, holy smokes. Do you think that this idea will, on balance, recruit more people or drive more actually good people away? I mean, remember this extremist saying that traditional values is a sign that you don't belong in the military?
What they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist, like, and if someone you know was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards like traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist. But
yeah, they're doing such crazy things like putting tampon machines in men's washrooms and barracks. Do you think that drives away more regular guys than it attracts trans soldiers? If you knew that the Canadian Army would now be stuffed with government bureaucrats as opposed to warriors, what do you think as a military-aged man who wants to serve? I mean, just to show you what a real country's military is like, or a country with a real military, rather, here's the new ethos in the U.S. Army under Pete Hegseth. He's their new Secretary of War. By the way, they renamed the Secretary of Defense as the Secretary of War. Just take a look at this ad. A little bit different, isn't it?
No more distractions. No more electric tanks. No more gender confusion. No more climate change worship. We are laser focused on our mission of warfighting.
We will
measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. It's called peace through strength.
You look into the eyes of these young Americans who are giving up the best years of their life in a uniform to serve their nation. They are incredible.
Through our power and might, we will lead the world to peace. Our friends will respect us, our enemies will fear us, and the whole world will admire the unrivaled greatness of the United States military. We will replenish the pride of our armed forces, end the recruitment crisis.
We don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us.
God bless you. God bless our armed forces. God bless our men and women serving overseas. And God bless the United States of America.
That's exciting. That's encouraging. That's inspiring. That's patriotic. I mean, obviously, it's warmongering. It's from the Department of War, although Trump in it clearly says the best is when you have peace through strength. In fact, that's the whole name of that video. You're so strong, no one ever wants to fight with you. That's the American way. Here's our answer to that. Let me quote, after the initial entry into the ranks, the public servants would be required to do 1 week's worth of military training each year, but would not be issued uniforms. Medical coverage would be provided for their annual military service, but that time would not count towards their pensions, the director pointed out. I'll just tell you right now, they ain't joining. But no matter how this works out, I just got to think the Chinese and Russians just have to be absolutely laughing at this. You know, Pete Hegseth in the United States, he actually goes on workouts with the troops just to show that he's an active leader. He's not a desk-bound, paper-pushing general. Just a reminder, here is Canada's absolute tippy-top military officer leading by example and having a good cry.
Today is a significant milestone in the history of the Canadian Armed Forces, and it is also a very difficult day. A day of which we are confronting a painful truth.
America's military will kill you. Canada's military will apologize to you. Why are we doing this? I think it's a trick, the purpose of which is to lie to Donald Trump about our commitment to the military. Mark Carney did this same thing a few months ago when Trump wanted a stronger border patrol. Alberta actually hired new sheriffs with drones and sniffer dogs. Like Alberta actually hired more, but not Mark Carney. He said he would, but he actually just renamed existing paper pushers as border guards. Same thing here. Carney will just rename these bureaucrats who do a week of camping every year as reserves. They don't even have a uniform, so he can count their massive salaries as part of our NATO spending. We really do take advantage of the Americans when it comes to defense, don't we? Yeah, I'm not proud of it.